This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network, now in its 7th year. Talk like you've never heard it before.
This is Alex Bennett. We're here with the Ramble till midnight tonight from the East Coast of the United States. Hello, everyone. It's time now to go out to California. Oh, not once again. We don't have to talk to Larry Brown, do we?
Not again.
Not again. My God.
Yeah.
Why won't you just go away?
I'll probably have some negative news about the new year already.
Really?
Well, yeah. I mean, Bob Saget.
I was going to talk about Bob Saget.
Yeah.
When I play this, last night I ran an interview that I did with him in 2008. Just a lovely guy.
Fantastic guy, yeah.
Did you know him well?
I met him a few times. I met him the first time I met him. I'd been doing comedy for 2 years. I went down to the Last Laugh in San Jose to do an open mic, and he was closing I guess he was coming in for the weekend to headline, and so I met him there, and he was just so nice to me, and he said, I've been doing this for 6 years. He said, there's nothing I can't, he said, there's nothing I'm afraid of. I can handle any situation on stage now, which could sound obnoxious, but it wasn't. And I think what he was trying to say to me, to all of us open micers, was you really have to be confident to get through this. And the way he said it was actually very cool.
Yeah. Well, he was just, I used to have him on the show on a fairly regular basis. Whenever he was in town, that's how we got people. And I got to know him peripherally. I'm not going to be one of these people who say, people always say this when they meet somebody once, they say, my good friend.
I know.
He was an acquaintance, and when he would come into town, he would do my show, and we always enjoyed his banter, and we always enjoyed him. And then he came and did my show at Sirius XM in 2008, and we reminisced about the past, and he was just a sweet, decent guy who I always remember as having the dirtiest act in show business.
Yeah, I was another one, but yeah.
You remember they did that thing, the Aristocrats, where they had everybody go and tell the Aristocrats joke.
He probably had the filthiest of all of them.
He was the dirtiest one of all of them. Absolutely the dirtiest. And he even beat out Gilbert Gottfried.
Right.
And because the Aristocrats as a joke is kind of like an opera. Some people sing it well and other people don't. And he just made it into a masterpiece.
Mm-hmm.
And yet he had this image of being, Mr. Sweet guy, America's dad, I think they referred to him as in some cases. And that was because of that show, Full House.
Full House,
yeah.
Which he dropped, when that show was on, he dropped into Cobb's one night, which had a large tourist crowd down there, and people were going, oh my God, Bob Saget. And they had no idea that he was dirty. They just knew him from the Full House show. And I guess he did an aristocrat type show that night. People were just in absolute horror.
Yeah. But he was, there was this thing about him that he had no guilt for doing Full House, which I suppose a lot of people would feel guilty about. He had no guilt about it. He did it well, and it made him a fortune. And then he got that America's Home Videos because ABC was taking from the pond to get a host on that show. And Full House was part of that pond. And then he did that, I think, for 8 years, something like that, America's Home Video. So he did very, very well. And so for the rest of his career, he's been doing a lot of stand-up and things like that, and he was really and as I always remembered him, always a decent guy. I never had a bad thought about Bob Saget.
No, and also, you notice how incredibly quick he was when you interviewed him. He just...
Yeah.
I wish I could work like that. But he also, I believe, he directed a few movies, didn't he?
I don't know. I'll have
Dirty Work with Artie Lang and Norm Macdonald.
Oh, okay. Yes, he did direct a film. I do remember that was a film he directed. But he, it's just, the people. There was a clip of Kimmel doing his show. And he was doing a thing about Bob Saget because Saget had died, and he started breaking up crying on the air. He said, I just love this guy, He said this guy was so good. I mean, there were people he helped out. I mean, Kimmel, for instance, had a problem with his baby being born, and he was born somewhat not deformed, but with a physical problem that could have been deadly, and the kid got through it. And he said Bob was there all the time calling me, how's he doing, how you doing, and so this was just one of those nice guys, unlike us.
Yes, we go on forever. Horrible men.
Yeah, but he just and it was a surprise to everybody because there was nothing saying he was dying. He just apparently had a heart attack or something in his room at the hotel, and next thing you know, we're all sitting here bemoaning his death. And I wish I could say I really knew him well. And I'm sure if I'd ever called him with this podcast and said, would you be on my podcast, he would have said yes immediately. But I never thought to do it. I never like to impose myself on people. Is that weird?
No, it's respectful. I like that because...
Like, I've been imposing myself on you, but I don't give a shit about you. So, years and years of bubbles in my presence. I mean, you were my, traffic guy. Oh, that was wonderful. I loved when you did traffic. Man, they were the best traffic reports of all time.
Those were fun to do, yeah.
Can we give people a hint of what it was like? I mean, you didn't really do the traffic, did you? I mean, where did you get the traffic from to begin with?
Oh, it came out we had a teletype, which was sent from, I think was it Metro Traffic? And they would send us updates.
Yeah.
And then Live 105 wasn't really particular about getting much traffic out, so they just told me to do the top 3 situations in the traffic, and I would add, we had sound effects, and every time there was an incident in Richmond, there'd be gunfire.
The other thing that you did, and it almost became a catchphrase, was when some car was stalled in the right lane or something like that.
I would say "Park it, whore," which became. I think I sold like 1,000 T-shirts that said "Park it, whore," and someone complained that that was sexist, and I said no, it wasn't. I said because anyone that's going to work is a whore, man or woman.
Yeah, good. Glad you didn't put up with their political correctness. If
you're going to a job you don't like, if you're just going for the money, you're a whore, no matter what it is, right?
That's right. And then if you suck off the boss, then you're really a whore. But I mean, I love that when you did that. I somehow I miss. I think that was maybe my greatest show I ever did. That show, and that includes all the stuff I did here in New York that people are so fond of. I just feel that we did a good job. So.
Well, yeah, you had great people that you interviewed. You always had the comics on the show. It was just a fun morning.
Yeah, it was a good piece of entertainment, and I have people who to this day, write me about it and say that was the best radio I've ever heard. And I think it was. I think it was really, and I'm not saying it because I did it. But, I mean, I must say I probably created an atmosphere in which it could thrive. You guys all knew what I expected out of you, and you
right.
did it admirably. But, I mean, I do think it was one of the best morning shows ever. And it's a shame that we never went national with it, which I had attempted on several occasions, because then the rest of the country would have heard what it was. Yet people in San Francisco will write me and go, it's the best radio I ever heard. I haven't heard anything better since. And that I appreciate. That makes me happy.
Well, it should. You should be proud of it.
Well,
shortly after that, radio died. So.
Well, I mean, people think radio's still around, but it's not. And it's a shell of its former self. But I'm very happy that we did it and that we have those memories. And I should probably put more of those shows together and put them up online so people can hear them. Because, I mean, just an average show was hilarious, especially when we got a bunch of comics sitting around riffing with each other.
Weren't there some mornings the shows were going so well you'd go 45 minutes overtime?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we had that ability. But, I mean, sometimes we would get 5 comics in there, all trying to out-riff each other. And when we got, what's his name? Oh, God, my mind is so bad these days. The Riff Master. The black comic.
Warren?
Warren Thomas. God damn it. The name should have just popped into my head. And probably would have if I wasn't trying to remember it. But Warren Thomas was just the top riff master.
He was probably the best, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and when we have him on the show, we knew it was going to be a good morning because everybody was going to be trying. Then you'd have Pearl, and you never got in the middle of that, I don't think, because your
I wasn't quick enough for those guys.
Well, your style of comedy was a different pace.
I would sometimes just wait back, like they'd go for 10 minutes. I'd be like a sniper and occasionally throw a shot in.
Well, I mean, you never, if I remember correctly, you never really sat there and made up jokes while you were doing the show.
No, that's really hard to do, and those guys are great at it.
Yeah, they did it, but they got their material through riffing.
Yeah,
and you got yours through. How do you write your comedy? Do you sit down and write it, or do you?
That doesn't usually work. I'll hear something and react to it, like not in a riffing situation, but like I saw an ad for it said that 15% of Americans are dyslexic. So I thought, wow, just over half. Because I saw that as an ad on TV, and I got that joke from that. So
what's the joke again?
It said 15% of Americans are dyslexic, and I thought 15%. Wow, that's just over half. Yeah.
But that's how you created your jokes. But
and that was just watching an ad on TV. But Pearl and Thomas were just, and I've seen Robin and Pearl together, just like they looked like two mentally ill people. They were just so wired and insane.
Well, people don't understand this, but the reason comics are like that is that they're literally creating material every day they're alive. I mean, Pearl never stopped riffing. Even off the air, he was riffing.
I know.
But you weren't a riffer, and a lot of other comics weren't riffers either. A lot of other comics didn't want to come into that situation, or if they were there, they pulled back, because it's a very hard thing to do that kind of comedy.
Well, some comics can't step out of their act. I think I could be in the moment, but I just couldn't riff like Pearl or Warren. But some guys are not. Some comics aren't good guests that way. They can just do their act, and that's pretty much it.
Here's the interesting thing that I've found, in the past, is that there are some comics who create a onstage persona. I'd say yours is an onstage persona, but you're a lot like that offstage.
I'm a lot like it, yeah.
But they create an onstage persona. I'll give you an example. Kevin Pollak. Create an onstage persona of the guy going, oh, no, sit down, no need to do that for me, because I'm, and he played this egotist. And that was fine up until a certain point when he started believing that character, and he started becoming that character, and nobody wanted to be around him. Now, after a few years, he suddenly wised up and stopped being that character off stage. But for a while, they kind of lived. Am I right? They weren't that way in the beginning. Then they find the character. Then the character all the time.
It overtakes their real personality.
Yeah. Luckily for Kevin, he did the opposite and turned into a pretty nice and decent guy, who I have always enjoyed as a person.
Great guy, and I would say that was kind of a really nice career. Just a lot of great character parts. And
but some people just like Slayton. Bobby Slayton is pretty much his character all the time.
Yes.
Because I think I think there's part of him that thinks that this is what people expect out of him. Because I remember Bobby when he wasn't quite the Bobby Slayton that's on stage, but off stage he's pretty much the same, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, you are pretty much the same off stage as you are on stage, except maybe more depressing.
Yeah. And this is good. Who other comics were like had? Bobcat was definitely different off stage.
Oh, nothing like the character. Nothing.
No.
Yeah. And then what his problem was? What happened to his career? Where his career got ditched because he was a sensation. I mean, in San Francisco, God, he made me a lot of money. I produced concerts with him. I mean, and we would sell tickets. I remember we sold one set of tickets for a thing called Bobcat Goes to Hollywood or something.
That was the Circle Star show.
Yeah, and it sold out in 15 minutes.
Wow.
That's like 1,000-seater or something like that. I don't know how many people fit in that theater.
And many people have told me that was the greatest comedy show they ever saw. It was Warren Thomas, Bob Rubin, Dana Carvey, Goldthwait.
Yeah, and but Goldthwait. What happened with Goldthwait was, at a certain point, and this happens with people who play a character sometimes. He got to hate the character. He felt the character was defining him. Well, of course it was. It was a character you came up for people to pay attention to you.
Yeah, then he didn't. He stopped doing it. I just thought, wow, I would have ridden that into the sunset. He could have made so much more money with that, but I guess he really got sick of it.
Well, I know he got sick of it, and he changed his tone and stuff in the act, and the act he was doing was brilliant. I mean, he made one of the most brilliant comments to me. We were riding in a car somewhere, going somewhere, and I said to him, "Let me ask you this." I said, Do you think that your character has limitations? In other words, that you can only ride him so far. And his answer was, well, Buster Keaton played his character forever and did quite well. Charlie Chaplin played his character. He said, you can take a character like this and then morph him into any number of circumstances. And I thought that was a brilliant observation on his part.
Yeah, he's really smart.
But he
knew that.
never took his own advice. After a while, he abandoned that character. And he didn't do all the things he could have done with that character. So, he, I think, had a failed career, if you want my opinion, because he didn't believe in the character he was doing. People don't realize this about a comic like Bob Goldthwait. He used to go on stage and scream. And you couldn't follow that kind of act, could you?
No, I don't think anyone could. He was
Anybody,
literally. His act was like a guy. It was a man having a nervous breakdown.
Yeah, you could not follow that act. Not because it was great. You couldn't follow it because the tone of it literally turned the room. And anybody who tried to follow him couldn't follow him. They didn't have that kind of manic intensity. Plus, the audience was just exhausted when he was through. So, nobody wanted to follow him, so he became a headliner almost immediately.
He did, yeah. And interesting that he was not. He started out in Boston, where he didn't get much response there. Then he came out here, and he was like overnight. He was just huge.
It was amazing. He came on my show, and the thing that he liked about me at that time, he got to hate me for some reason, and I've never been able to figure out why, is that when he first came on my show with the screaming and the shouting, I didn't do what a lot of other talk show hosts would do, but say, well, Bob, yeah, but let's calm down and let's find out what Bob Goldthwait is really like. Instead, I played straight man to his character,
right. Yeah.
And he appreciated that. And it was also my sense of comedy. Let me say, you don't try to take somebody who's got a character and then have him break that character. Instead, you play along with that character. And I'm sure any number of times talk show hosts would say to him, well, Bob, what do you really like? You never ask that question. That's a no-no, because that's not what he's come on the air doing. He's come on with this character. Play into the character. Play to the character. Yeah. So that's why I was a good host for comics, because I understood comedy.
Well, you were most people in morning radio didn't understand comedy at all, so you did.
And I understood how to be the straight man, which talk show hosts don't like being straight man. They think, in fact, if they got a comic on, they've got to top the comic. And I was never a big fan of Steve Allen's, but I heard some advice he gave once on the air. He said, never try to top a comic when they're on your show. You're going to be there tomorrow, okay? They're not going to be. And right now, they're sitting there on your show working for you. Let them work. Let him make people laugh. You don't have to make people laugh all the time. In fact, his quote was that in order to do a show, you don't have to be funny all the time. You just have to be fun. And it's easier to be fun than funny. And I thought that was a great observation. That's the way I worked.
Yeah, I think Johnny Carson understood that too.
Yes, Johnny Carson was never really funny. He was fun, and the show was fun. And then he would bring on George Burns and let George Burns be funny and not try to top, George Burns or Jack Benny or.
Yeah, he realized if somebody in the show was good, it made him look good.
Yeah, exactly. Or Don Rickles. How could you possibly try to top Don Rickles? What?
Yeah, or he often played the straight man to Dangerfield too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But
nothing more valuable than a straight man in comedy. Yeah. Like I still love because Bud Abbott.
Yeah, he was he was probably one of the greatest straight men of all time. You know who the greatest?
Think so, yeah.
You know who the greatest straight man of all time was? George Burns.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
With Gracie Allen. He was perfect. If you just watch him. Perfect straight man. Well, anyway, it's good talking to you again, Bubs.
Yes, it's always good to start off a new year on a death note. So.
Want to do it again next week?
We will.
We will, absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, Larry Bubbles Brown.
This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network, now in its 7th year. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Yeah, okay, there he is, ladies and gentlemen, our old friend Larry Bubbles Brown, doing his Larry Bubbles Brown thing, whatever that is. Okay. Anyway, it's wonderful. I love Larry. Oh, by the way, I've heard from Kravitz. Steve Kravitz called me, what was yesterday, and he's had a few medical problems and things like that, but he'll be back in the middle of February on our show. He told me he'd be ready to do it then, but he's having some cosmetic work. Well, it isn't cosmetic work. I'll let him tell you if he wants to tell you, but it's nothing serious. Okay, it's not like he's having cancer operations or anything like that. Leave that to me. Okay. Anyway, where do we go here? Okay, we want to go to our citizen panel. They're getting lined up and ready to go. So let's see here. First of all, I've got to admit them all. Push the button, Bennett. There we go. And they're all joining. And here you can see them popping in there. There's Charlie Wallace, and there's Josh Wheeler, and that's the beginning of a citizen panel. That's how it starts. And how y'all doing today?
Doing good. Beautiful day in Austin.
A beautiful day in Austin. Yeah, it was beautiful here too, but it was also very cold. So, and right now it's 24 degrees at 2 minutes past the hour. Yeah, that's the way we used to do that in radio.
It's 58 now, but it was 78 this afternoon.
Yeah. Well,
gorgeous day.
I had to think. I was thinking about who was I thinking about today? Wait a minute, Kimberly Solver. Well, let's see who Kimberly Solver is. Let's see if Kimberly actually is a person who's going to be here. What?
Oh.
Whoa. That was not good. Okay, well, we won't let Kimberly Solver in again.
I missed it. I missed it.
It was quick. Yeah. Every now and then we get these people who try to get on here and make trouble. That's fine with me. No, it was not, I looked outside. I haven't gone out in like a week. I mean, I'm afraid to go out there.
Yeah.
If I don't have to, I don't. And you're the same way, Charlie.
Yep.
It's fun and games until someone loses an eye.
Yeah.
That's a very intelligent sweatshirt. T-shirt. You wear intelligent T-shirts, don't you? I don't even understand it because I don't know that kind of math. But that's -4. What
the square root of -4 should be 2i.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I is the square root of -1.
It's all fun and games till someone loses an eye. Boom. Got it. Well, Now L. Mason. Boy, I don't know if I do I trust these people? Let me see here. L. Mason, are you there? I'm gonna.
Probably Dan Meyer calling.
L. Mason, are you there? No.
Yes, he's there. He says.
To everyone, yes. Okay, well, show us your picture, L, or we're gonna have to get rid of you.
Fixing my mic, it says.
Fixing my mic. Okay.
Yep.
Let me see here. He's fixing his mic. That's what it says. If you see, folks, you can see that on the screen at the bottom here. See?
Drivers are supporting.
Drivers are supporting. Okay, well, why don't you, maybe Mason, is it Mason L? I guess. Are you there, Mason? Well, I can't play these games this long. I have better things to do with my life than wait on something like this. Wait a minute. Oh, these are a bunch of phonies. Okay, hold on a second. Wait a second. Send to put in waiting room. There we go. Okay, and there's some other people here. John Smith, Jerry Rodriguez. Do you know any of these people?
No.
Okay, so I'll go remove. I don't want to report.
No wonder you don't have a lot of people on your show. You remove all the good people.
Well,
good people.
Yeah, if people can see what I'm doing, by the way, because these things come up in front of the screen here. But we got rid of them. Dexter, let's see, Dexter Brickle's iPad? Who is
he's
that?
on his iPad.
Oh, this is ridiculous. People are coming on.
He's probably from Austin with a name like that.
I'm not letting any of these people in here.
All of a sudden on Friday night they want to join your.
Yeah, we've been found.
Yeah. This is remove. Boom, boom, boom. Let me get rid of him. Okay. Remove. Come on, remove. Then we remove some. We don't remove some more here. Bella, we remove that. No, I don't want to report. Okay. See, all that stuff keeps coming up in front of the screen. That's what the problem is.
Yeah.
Well, I can just leave them in the waiting room, and they can waste their time there. You know. Don't report. Okay. Remove. Don't report it. Okay. Remove.
Hey, how you doing, Josh?
Yeah, you guys talk to each other while I'm getting rid of these people. Oh, there are a ton of them. There are a ton of them.
Doing pretty well. How's everybody doing?
Well, here's Kevin. I can admit Kevin. And let me see.
I don't really like that.
And Amy, is that our Amy? I don't think so. I
thought Kevin was the master of arms.
What? You thought Kevin was the master of arms?
Yes.
Yeah, 15 people have entered the waiting room. I wish I could get rid of all of them at one. It doesn't have a thing where you can get rid of them all at one time. That's the problem. Yeah.
I remember the first couple of nights you were on Zoom, you got Zoom bombed, and all these porn pictures kept coming.
Yeah. Well, I can live with that.
Can you send all those people to the Republican National Headquarters?
I don't know, but I mean, I don't know how we. Let's see here. We're now up to 17 people in the waiting room. Here's some with really nice names, too. Anyway, well, we'll just leave them in the waiting room. They can waste their time sitting there. Eventually, they'll all give up, I would imagine. I'm just wondering how I can get rid of all of them. There's no way to get rid of all the people in the waiting rooms. Well, we just lost one, and we're going to lose more, I'm sure. Go ahead, try it, folks. We're down to 14 now.
All right. Well, yeah. I said hi to Josh. How are you doing, Kevin?
Okay. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's a nice day in the Bay Area today.
Yeah, it was.
By the way, you were mentioning Texas, and we have a good friend, Scott Boddicker, who calls the program.
Yeah.
And the question is, where does Boddicker live?
In Texas.
Lives in Plano, doesn't he?
Lives in Plano, Texas. What happened in Plano today?
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Something happened in Plano?
Yeah, very important. The guy who's being indicted for sedition, that's where they brought him before a judge.
Okay.
I guess
so he free on bond now?
Huh?
Is he free on bond because it's in Texas? I don't know.
Something like that, yeah. Let me just see here. Is there anybody here who we know that should be let in? No. So they're all going to they'll all eventually give up because we won't pick him up. No, but it was Plano, Texas, is where they had the
I didn't realize that.
the hearing.
Plano east of you, Charlie?
Plano's up in the Panhandle, I think.
Yeah, I thought so too, and I thought that Scott lived on the eastern side of Texas.
Well, I hope tonight when he does, he usually he never calls our show lately. He calls the Monday show, but he doesn't call this show.
And he calls Jack's show.
And he calls Jack's show a lot. But if he's out there, I wish he would call because I'd love to talk to him about it because it's happening in his neck of the woods.
Yeah.
What the hell, Well, we're down to 9 people in the waiting room. I hope they're having a good time waiting there.
Why don't you do your show, Alex? Let them wait.
Huh?
Yeah. Let's just do the show.
Let's do the show.
Yeah.
Let them wait.
Yeah. Anyway, well, I just keep looking to see if any of our people are trying to get in because I can let them in. I can let people in one at a time. One day I should just let all these people in and see what they all do.
Absolutely.
What kind of porn they'll put up and what kind of...
Nixon will come back to life.
Yeah.
Yeah. But don't worry. If you're sitting out there and you're trying, don't try any longer. I'm not letting anybody in that I don't recognize. Okay? So...
Call back on Monday.
And I hate that because there could be one person here who actually was a new caller who would like to participate. But I doubt that, so I'm not going to... Listen, I had a thought today, and I was watching MSNBC, and they were spending pretty much 20 minutes with a panel. I think, what's his name, that advertising executive was on there, and Al Sharpton. And they were all talking about how disappointed they're getting at our president.
Yeah.
And that
so is CNN.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm beginning to feel the same way. I'm mad at him because he's really screwing the pooch.
You know what? I thought about it too, but don't we do this to every fucking president in the first year?
Yes, but he's making really big mistakes. Okay.
Well,
I mean,
he ran on forgiving student loan debt and he hadn't done a thing. He didn't even need Congress for that.
I'm not saying that he hasn't,
You know what it is?
baked his own cake, but he's got a lot of shit going on too. He inherited a lot of bullshit.
Yeah.
But he's got a lot on his plate. He didn't inherit a mess, but I don't know. I just don't see that it's much different than any other president. The first year is a piece of crap anyway, usually.
Yeah, well, I mean, the first year is a piece of crap, but they were talking about some classic mistakes he's making. One of which is that it's what I've been saying. He really shouldn't appear on television that much. He should send in his people for that. You get, I was saying it last night. If it's something that has to do with the economy, send in your economy guy. And if it's something that has to do with health, send in your health guy. The trouble with him is he looks too doddering. And it's
like I said last night. That's what we said about Trump.
Well, no, we said about Trump that Trump was a different story. We didn't like Trump because he was an asshole, because he was working against the best interests of this country.
Yeah, but remember, Trump would talk and talk and talk about all the stuff, and then he'd have the experts behind him, but he wouldn't let them speak.
Yeah. But I mean, it's just gotten pretty terrible. He doesn't have a good presence, and what happened, I often once I talked about him this way, and I'll mention it, that I once went to a store looking, and I was walking by the store, and there was this little kitten in the window. And I went in and I looked at the kitten, and the kitten was jumping up and down, pick me, choose me. Oh, I'm all kinds of fun and rolling around and just being the sweetest kitten in the world. So we bought the cat, took it home. That was the last day it was ever that way. After that, it was the meanest, just weirdest cat I ever owned, okay? And that's how I feel about this whole thing. It's the same thing. You know, it's the same thing that as that cat. We saw this guy running for election, and he looked pretty good. You know, he looked alert. You know, I don't know, maybe he was doing cocaine or something. I have no idea.
I don't see how we had a choice. We had a choice between.
We'll get to that in a second. No, I have a choice not to vote or to just vote for somebody else. You know, but I mean, I voted for Biden, and look what happened. Again, I vote for somebody, and they turn out to be terrible. You know.
So it's your fault.
Yeah, so it's my fault.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but I mean, I just think that he's. I mean, to talk about doddering, I'm getting that way myself. But you know, you don't have to agree, Alan. You know, I mean, I'm not being sexist or ageist when I'm saying this because I happen to be 82 years of age. But I wouldn't be president of the United States either. I'd do the country a favor, and even if I was really good at it, I'd feel I was a little too old to run this country. Biden had this, where his ego was, he just had to be president. You know, rather than say, I'm a little too old for this. It's a younger person's game. Let's go out and find the best person we can have run against Trump. He just had to have it. And he's turned out to be, so far, terrible president. You know?
I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I wouldn't call him terrible.
He really isn't.
Trump was terrible. Biden may be disappointing, but I don't think
Trump was terrible in a whole different way.
Yeah.
You know? So.
Tony, did your coffee come?
Oh yeah, thank you, Alan. It came.
You're welcome.
Oh, you sent him coffee. Thank you.
I didn't open it yet. I'll have it tomorrow when I'm watching the 4:30 game, the Bengals.
Is it?
We could tell on Charlie's post your coffee was kicking in.
Yeah.
I got the Maxwell House still tonight. I'm going to save the Dunkin' Donuts for tomorrow for Burroughs and the Bengals.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh shit! Were you talking shit on Charlie's post again?
Yeah.
I missed it.
Yeah, Dallas will win, Charlie. Don't worry.
What are you coaching now, Tony?
No, you know what I was just saying? No, Dallas will win for Charlie. They're gonna win Dallas tomorrow. Sunday.
Oh, good. Keep saying that. Keep saying that.
Too much talent on Dallas, I can tell you that. But here's a question with Biden, though, Alex. I think he's being controlled by.
Darling, I'm sorry, but we're not. We're frenemies right now.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I like the '90s. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying, strictly as a football fan,
Keep talking, Tony. Keep talking. Go ahead.
It's not a guarantee. I mean,
I think you're going to beat them handily. I think they're going to beat them handily, Charlie. I'm telling you, there's too much talent. They got gameplay.
Yeah, go ahead, Tony. Yeah, keep talking.
All I can say is Arizona, Denver. You can't take anything for granted.
I'll tell you what it comes down to. You ready for this, Charlie? Dak Prescott is a better quarterback than Jimmy G. And in the playoffs, the quarterback wins.
Alex has lost control. He doesn't know what
Jimmy G's got his
no idea what you're talking
right,
about.
Tony.
He throws those flutterers over the middle. Diggs is going the other way with it.
Hey,
Charlie.
go right ahead. The more you talk about that, the more I get to keep my sports Emmy.
Yeah, Alex, the 49er quarterback, Jimmy G, he's got his hand in a sling. I'm going to tell you something. Diggs is going to pick him off over the middle. Did you see the game last week?
Diggs is going to wipe him all over the place.
Diggs is going to pick six.
Absolutely.
I'm telling you, they don't want to throw. And Shanahan is not a genius if you think as a coach.
Well, I don't know. A lot of people give Shanahan a bad time. Okay, I think that's highly. He's not that terrible. No.
I'm telling you, if the Niners hadn't had so many injuries, they'd be a lot higher seed. They had a lot of injuries this year.
I'm having fun removing.
You can't play quarterback on laying on your back. Enough said.
Yeah.
Jimmy G throws those flutters over the middle. That I'm telling you, you can take that to the bank, man. When he throws that over the middle. You saw him as Charlie throw. As soon as he threw the ball, I told my brother, they're going to pick.
We got a kid in the background, Tony. Bye bye.
He's not Steve Young. I'll tell you that.
If people notice,
I'll knock him out. I think.
If people
I
notice,
thought that was your new.
Parsons will knock him out, Charlie. I'm telling you.
by the way, if people notice on the screen, I'm knocking these people off like crazy.
I was going to talk about Biden, but they got me all jacked up for the football game and the coffee. I just watched the Madden documentary. I'm ready to fly.
Oh, yeah.
That was really good. You see the Raiders? How if they were letting them hit today, like the Raiders were hitting in the 70s, Brady would have been decapitated about 8 years ago. He's never playing at 44.
Even at the 80s, look at Montana. He got beat up really bad.
Yeah.
That's how the Giants beat him. They sent Marshall and Taylor in, and they were ready to knock him. Well, they knocked him out of the championship game when Marshall hit him.
Hey, go ahead. Go ahead with this.
Yeah, you guys go ahead.
Is anybody listening to this? We may have found a new topic to do on this show.
I should get my Joe Montana rookie card. They can see I'm still a 49.
Oh, hey, we got a lot of people watching this. Okay, go ahead. Continue.
Tony's prediction tomorrow. You ready, Charlie? Sunday night. Dallas 27, 49, and 17. That's my prediction. And I predict they will pick him off at least 2 times. Dallas.
Can I bet that on FanDuel?
I think the Bengals are going to beat the Raiders too.
I would do the parlay, Alex, for you too. I would do it. I'll tell you.
Bengals are going to beat the Raiders too.
Oh yeah, Joe Burrows is going off tomorrow. That kid he's got balls to steal Burrows. He don't care who he's throwing against. He's like, I'm going to get this done.
That'll be a good game too. I'm going to watch every game this weekend.
Well, Charlie, when you see that guy Chase from LSU,
yeah.
He was on my
fantasy. Like, forget about it.
He was on my fantasy team.
Yeah.
Gino just laid out to him because he's going to be wide open somewhere over the middle. It's like, holy
Did you hear what you just said? Are you talking about sex?
No, I'm talking about Jamari Chase.
Oh, okay, because I don't. Well, sometimes people are talking
Alex.
like a little Jerry Rice. It's so good.
Alex, that's Chubb.
It's just when people are talking sports, many times it sounds to me like they're talking sex.
Really?
I love that image you got, though. I still love that you met Steve Young, who's one of my favorite Niners, actually.
Did I meet Steve Young? Yeah, I did.
Remember you said you did. Remember you had him on the show.
I forget.
What was the weather like today where you're at?
Alex, how was it today? Well, not briefly, but it was getting cold. It was getting windy over here. Actually,
you know what you're doing, Alan. Is David Letterman? I watched a bunch of David Letterman clips, about an hour and a half worth of "How's the weather where you are?"
Really?
And he just picks a name at random out of the phone book, calls them, and asks them, "How's the weather where you are?"
Did that? I like that.
Yeah.
I thought I could change Tony's subject a little bit.
I was ready to go to Biden, but now you got me all juiced up like a football.
You're the one that gave him coffee.
Yeah, I love it. I'll be up all night now watching football documentaries.
Yeah, but he's not going to drink until tomorrow.
Wait a minute. Did you drink some coffee tonight before you came on?
Yeah, I got the Maxwell House pop going again.
Oh, good.
Good Maxwell.
Alex, and then I watched the old TV shows.
God help us all, ladies and gentlemen.
Alan's fault for sending them the shit.
No, I didn't send him to the Maxwell House. I'm not that cheap.
He sent me the good stuff. I got good donuts from him.
Yeah, he sent him cocaine.
Oh.
Oh, Charlie, I got my cake ready for Dallas Sunday. I got some stuff on the side. I'm not leaving the house for the whole weekend.
Wait, near Eagles territory, Tony?
Philly fans are horrible. I told you I went to see a Met game up there. Alex, Charlie, they're terrible fans. I went to see a Met game with my brother years ago in the 80s when they had McReynolds, Strawberry. I think McReynolds might have hit the wall of the vet. The fans were cheering. Did you ever hear fans cheer? The guys on the floor almost knocked out. I said, they're horrible fans.
Isn't that like a little monkey, a chia pet?
Let me get my Montana card.
Can you mute him or kick him off?
No, we'd like to have a show.
It was by accident. So Tommy deleted him instead of...
Josh, are you... wait a minute, hold on a second. Josh, are you into sports?
Oh, yeah. He's
a big Bengals fan.
Oh, he's a big Bengals
Going to the game tomorrow.
Oh, okay. He's going to the game tomorrow. So, yeah. All right. So
football. That's not the white ball.
At least Tony talks in one sentence here.
Well,
oh my God, I know on the Facebook.
Let me see if we can. What do you?
It's downstairs, so I gotta get it later.
So go get it.
I really want to see it. We want to see it.
I want to see
it. Go get it. Goodbye.
What is it? What is it? We want to see it.
Right.
And we need to start talking about something else really quick.
Should I put him in the waiting room with the rest of the bozos?
Yeah, you can beat them all up.
Yeah.
Hey, they're pointing out in the chat room that 6.4 million jobs created under Biden. That's twice as many under the whole Trump presidency.
Oh, really?
That's just 1 year.
Okay, good. Well, that's fine. I didn't get one of them. You know.
I didn't want one of them.
Well, you see, part of the thing is that I think that what's going to happen in the midterms, you can disagree with me, Josh, if you want to, or agree with me. What's going to happen in the midterms is it's all going to be an election on your buying power at the grocery store. It isn't going to be COVID, and it isn't going to be a bunch of other things. It's going to be that. When people go to the store, and all of a sudden, I looked at stew meat at Costco today. It normally went for about $20 for a big thing of like 3 pounds of stew meat. All right, for 3 pounds of stew meat, that same stew meat that was $20 is now $35 for stew meat. That's crap meat.
You know what? There's 849,000 Americans that don't care what the price of meat is now. If they had just voted Hillary in, they'd still be alive.
Oh, you're talking about the dead people.
Yeah.
Yeah. But all I'm saying is, I think that the midterm is going to be won and lost on that part of the economy.
I'm sure you're right.
You know,
Yep.
I mean,
He's not doing so good with the economy.
yeah.
All the backlog, all these trucks, and
That's all bullshit. I was at the store today. There weren't any empty shelves.
Well, you got to come here then.
Yeah.
Oh, did you see the news tonight had all the trucks on the trains that are getting ripped off down in L.A.?
Yeah, I saw that.
What's
My
this?
God.
What's this?
Well, they're now robbing the trains. You know, the containers and the UPS trucks and
Yeah.
the trailers and stuff that are riding on the back of the trains.
Yeah.
There's like this whole section in L.A. that's just full. They're busting open the back of the trucks and they're just pushing all the boxes out.
Taking of the boxes and throwing the
Taking everything out of the boxes, and there's just like this mile-long
track.
stretch of boxes all over the fucking tracks.
Wow.
And it's Amazon, it's, you know, COVID tests, it's everything just plowed through, and they cleaned it up like 30 days ago.
I saw them cleaning it up in the news.
And it's all fucked up again. And it's, you know, people are, you know, the news reporters going out there.
Pacific has 3 cops in their whole department.
Yeah.
Assigned to the whole state of California.
And they'll only go out there if they get called.
Right.
And there's just miles of boxes of you know, Amazon, you know, anything you shipped.
Yeah,
it could be down
all
there.
that stuff. Yep.
In this 6 or 7 block section of Union Pacific.
Who got Tony to go get something? Who was it? Good going, Brian.
You
Really
get
good.
cabinet bucks.
Yeah. And by the way, if you have time, folks, you can see these people keep calling.
Subscribe.
Huh?
Subscribe.
I wish it. Well, see,
Subscribe to the show.
Yeah, like and subscribe.
yeah, like and subscribe to us. Yeah, be useful. You know. But anyway, you know, I mean, we're living in such strange times. It just doesn't get any better, does it? You know, I just wish. What I wish is that I could go on a vacation. I can't even do that. You know, we spent 2 years in the house, for crying out loud. You know, and it
Me
just.
too. I'd like to go too.
I do, and here's the other thing. Fuck the CDC.
Yeah.
They keep coming up. Have you heard the latest? They keep coming up with new stuff. You know what the latest one is? Well, maybe the nose swabs aren't good, which should be a saliva test. Well, I'd much rather have given saliva than have a fucking stick stuck up my nose.
Yeah.
That's the same swab they stick inside your dick to check for chlamydia.
It's chlamydia.
Chlamydia.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But
media,
I mean, you know, I mean it. Oh, so anyways, I was saying about Tony.
Must have been the coffee pot.
I can't find it. It's in her. I got a little safe. She must. I think my sister moved my car downstairs.
Why don't you go down? Why don't you go downstairs? Go downstairs to find.
He's gonna go down to the safe deposit box and see if the bank's open.
I mean, what do you think is going to do then? I mean, you know, if Biden's not living up to anything, the economy keeps tanking.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
There's like 3.9% unemployment rate now, lowest in like 40 years. What do you mean the economy's bad?
But the unemployment rate is down, but the amount of people getting jobs is low as well, because nobody's taking the jobs.
Yeah, they're not taking the jobs.
And I think everybody just sees the prices. They see gas still climbing. It's paused right now, but it's supposed to start climbing again. They see all the meat still going up. I mean, the only thing that's come down is like the wood. The wood at Home Depot started coming back down. But other than that, everything else is still climbing.
My wood comes down once in a while.
What? What'd you say? What'd you say?
I said my wood comes down once in a while.
That is a euphemistic term, is it not, for the penis?
Yes.
Okay.
It is. You are smarter than you lead on.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Tony's back.
Yeah.
Did you find it, Tony?
I think I know where it is, but I thought.
Well, then go get it. Then go get it.
Not in her little safe.
You're not trying hard. You're not trying hard enough, Tony.
No, but Alex, that safe. She's got so much shit in it that I got to throw out. She saved everything. This woman.
A safe?
I found the old. Yeah, I have a little. She had a little safe. I found the old Chinese menus. She had a little thing in her room with menus that stores were closed for 10 years ago. I was pulling them out.
How big is a safe?
It's a nice size safe. It's like this big.
Well, go downstairs and go get it and bring it up.
I looked in there. I couldn't find it because there's so much old stuff in there that she would keep. It's like, you got to see it. It's like, you look like she's holding Fort Knox in this house. Let me get the, hold on. I'll get you what she saved. I don't want to take it.
All right,
go ahead.
I'll get you the old menus that the Moon Diner has been closed since probably like 1995.
Aren't you glad I sent him decaf coffee?
I don't think his body knows the difference.
No.
Probably not. There's probably enough caffeine left in the decaf that he just has an extra couple cups.
Yeah.
Amazing. Oh, he's back.
Brian, what you started by talking about sports?
Yeah. She used to like watching the games, this one.
What is that you just brought in?
This was one of, I don't know what the hell she would call this. This is one of her angel, like, keeping. Like, as you can see, it has, like, angels on it. This woman was, like, so holy, forget about it. So I was going, these are, like old things.
That's
old
real New York, folks, by the way, what you just heard. Forget about it.
But then she kept the Chinese menu in the house. Look at this one. Moon Palace. This place has been closed, Alex, for probably 10, 15 years. She still kept it. You know why? Free delivery. It had the specials she liked. So if anything went free to the house for under $20, we saved the menu.
And the scary thing is,
like, this place has been closed for how long?
Hey, Tony, the scary thing is you're saving it now, too.
I know. It's like, I don't want to throw it out because I'm laughing at it, actually. I'm like, oh, my God.
You could probably sell it on eBay, and you probably will.
Yeah. Well, Grand China, actually, the Chinks is still open, but this is like the full photo, though, now. They changed hands 4 times. Actually, the food's not as good as it used to be. Not as good as it used to be. Man, what are you going to do when they stop? Never as good as the original, I say.
What else do you have?
Don't ask!
Alex, the favorite pizzeria you liked? California Pizza Kitchen. She actually thought they were only in California. She didn't realize they were a fucking...
That they were delivering from California?
She probably would have thought that. There was one in Middle Village. She says, aren't they only in California? She never understood the thing of a chain restaurant. I said, Mom, what do you think? McDonald's is only here in New York? I mean, come on. She didn't get out much, I'm telling you. This woman was great. I miss her, though, because she was so goofy. You know this guy on Saturday Night Live, Pete Davidson?
Yeah.
You know, he's going with Kim Kardashian now. So he's spending all his time in California instead of in New York where the show is, right? And the other day they caught him doing something that may never let him come back to New York again. They found him and he and Kim going to a California pizza restaurant.
Oh, that's not.
And we're afraid
California.
that he's addicted now to pineapple pizza.
I had that in Vegas. It was actually good, Alex. In Vegas.
What?
I tried that in Vegas when my brother treated
Oh,
me.
jeez. Hey,
I know you were. And I'm from New York.
No, there's no such thing as pineapple pizza.
Alex, look at this place, Frankie's place. This place must have closed up in 3 months. We still got the menu. I don't remember eating, but I gotta put this away. This woman got.
Yes, I think you gotta put it.
Because all the places that she kept them in our angel box.
Pick a man. Wait a minute. Wait. Tony, come back with the menus. Grab one of those menus. Just grab any one of the menus. Put your hand in. Close your eyes and put your hand in. Okay?
Here we go.
Pick it up. Okay. Start reading the menu of Frankie's Palace to us.
Okay. I don't remember. All right, breakfast sandwiches. Alex, this isn't a bad price. 2 eggs with bacon, ham, or sausage. So I guess you'd pick one for $3.75.
Yeah, but how long ago was that?
Yeah, that sounds really cheap. Now $3.70 exactly. What can you get for $3? How old is this fucking thing? She kept everything. I don't even know. There was no fucking internet when this thing was here. It doesn't say the date. $3.75. You can't even get a cup of coffee and a roll for $3.75 today.
You can't even get an egg McMuffin for $3.75.
All right. What else?
Okay, let's go to the. Oh, this sounds good. A plain omelet, $4. I'm not even lying. This how old is it? You can't get an omelet for $4.
No.
She kept a Western omelet, Alex, right? With home fries, $6.50. Now it's like $14. And I know she didn't get the full. Oh, who eats a full Irish breakfast, Alex? 2 eggs, Irish bacon, and beans. No wonder they're so angry in the morning. That's why they drink beer from it.
Comes with a coupon to
Well, you
send
gotta have. I don't drink, but Alex,
No
if you're
wonder
gonna have that meal, you better start drinking a 6-pack.
We have 42 listeners. That's a
Beans in
record
the
this
morning.
month.
Yeah, we've really.
Have a fucking hot dog. I mean, really, they're fucking crazy.
Somebody on the chat says Tony should have his own show.
Tony's old menus. That'd be the whole show. Josh, you enjoying this?
Not really.
Come on, we're having fun.
Oh boy. Because Josh calls up here to have some kind of meaningful conversation, right, Josh?
On the one day a week that I'm available, that's correct.
Yes, and he calls to have a meaningful conversation. And what have we talked about that was meaningful today so far?
I want to ask.
Not much.
I want to ask Josh about that Supreme Court decision.
Oh yeah.
You know, we're gonna just let people die. We can't tell the OSHA can't protect workers at the companies.
Well, I mean, there's the confusion. I don't really think that's what. I mean, that's not what the court said. What the court said was that the person who made the decision didn't have the power to make it, in their view. And until that constitutional question was settled, which they sent back to the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals for their review with their larger panel, until they make their decision, you know, they've stayed the order. So, I mean, I think that's, you know, the confusion. I mean, he's not here to, you know, sort of make his point. But, you know, I saw that Damian Chaplin, you know, he was upset yesterday, and I understand why people were upset, saying that, you know, he doesn't understand how OSHA can have the power to say that a crack in the sidewalk or whatever is a violation, but they don't have the power to do this. And I understand that. But the court's point that I happen to agree with, though, is that there isn't just a person who decided that fact. That regulation, or any other example that you want to pick that sounds very sensible like that, that regulation was not written by the President of the United States. It was written into law by the Congress of the United States, which was chosen by the people through elections. So the court's point here is that they don't think that the President of the United States had the power to implement such a large regulation. If Congress would pass the same exact language, the court is not saying that you could not enforce that. The court is not saying that the government doesn't have the power to do this. They're saying that the one person who did it in the government doesn't have the power to do it. I mean, if Congress were to write a regulation today saying that employers over X number of people has to regulate their people, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, get the shot, collect the information, all that, I think it would still go to the court because people are not going to like it. And then I think the court would probably say, well, that's too bad. I think you would get a similar conclusion as they did, on the other side of the case. I mean, on the side of the case that they felt the president had the power, they granted it, okay, which was for hospitals or medical providers funded by the government. So where the government had control, they said the president has the power to do this because he's the head of the government, and he can order this done inside the federal government. They just said that basically OSHA does not have the power through an executive order to do this. OSHA would have the power through a congressional.
Well, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, Josh. They said that OSHA didn't have the power. Could it be that another part of the government does have the power to issue that kind of?
I don't know. I mean, OSHA is probably the main channel that workplace stuff has to go through. Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess this is always the confusion with the court. It always will be, and all the judges know it. It's not just Supreme Court, it's appeals courts and everything else. Is everyone looks at this in the tangible way, okay, of their life, of the shot and of the safety and of people dying. That's how they look at it. But the court does not look at it that way. The court looks at it, they didn't see this as a medical issue or as a safety issue. They reviewed this as a separation of powers issue, okay? I mean, that's how I read it. They view it as a separation of powers. How much power does the government have? Who has that power? And did they overstep? Were they allowed? All those types of questions. And that was their determination for right now. I mean, it's not completely over because they sent it back to the Sixth Circuit and they issued a stay. But I mean, listen, I don't know that. I understand that a lot of people like the inoculation and all that kind of stuff. I don't know that personally. Actually, I do know. I personally do not like the government being able to tell workplaces that. I mean, I think that I should be free to have my company tell me that, and then me decide, no, I'm not doing that. I'm going to go get another job. Or me saying, well, I don't like this, but I like this job, and I'm going to do it.
Charlie has his hand up. Charlie?
I may have a misconception of what OSHA is. I thought OSHA was a government agency that was responsible for making sure that workplaces were safe and healthy places to work.
No, they are.
So how could they not have the power to say this?
Again, the court is not saying that they don't have the power. Okay, the court is saying that the person who made the order did not have the power to order OSHA to do it.
So if OSHA, are you saying that, wait a minute, are you saying that if OSHA did it on their own?
No, I'm saying OSHA is governed, okay? The big OSHA book, okay, was written by Congress. Only Congress has the power, for the most part, to make regulation. You see? I mean, OSHA is governed by and directed by, their job is to enforce the rules that Congress makes. I mean, that's what I'm saying. They're an enforcement agency, in a lot of ways, a regulatory and
So, in other
enforcement
words, it
piece.
would be up to Congress to issue this?
Yes. Yes. If
Okay.
Congress were to just take the same exact language that he wrote in an executive order and pass it through the House and pass it through the Senate and send it onto his desk and he were to put his signature on there,
Mhm.
I think that it would be over. Again, people still wouldn't like it and they would file a lawsuit.
Well, fat
just like they
chance,
did
though,
here.
the fat chance
And
of
it-
that happening.
And it correct. That's what I'm
Exactly.
saying. And it would go
Yep.
to the court again, but at that point, I think the court would lean toward, okay, they would lean toward saying, well, this is a law passed by Congress, and at most, at that point, they may say, well, we no longer have a separation of powers issue, okay.
Mhm.
We now maybe just have a personal freedoms issue. So
Mhm.
then they would look at it in a different way. But this to me is a separation of powers issue. Does the president of the United States have the power to write an executive order that basically makes a new OSHA regulation? And in the OSHA standard, in the OSHA, the chapters that set it up, whatever I'm trying to think what you would want to call that, in their founding document, it's clear, because I've dealt with OSHA many times in my career. You know, only Congress can make the laws.
Yeah.
Now, OSHA has some power within. Okay, they have some blank check type of powers,
Mhm.
you know, to make determinations based on industries and that kind of thing. But it's not, you know, but this isn't OSHA going to a plant and saying, you know, you got to put some guarding over that pinch point. Okay, this is OSHA telling, you know, tens of millions of people you have to go have a medical procedure performed. I mean, I know everyone's going to say, oh, you just sit down and the shot. That's fine. It's still a medical procedure. I mean, everyone would qualify it as it's a medical procedure. Okay, it's done by someone who went to, I mean, college, got a degree, the whole thing. So, I mean, that's all I'm saying. I mean, I'm sure that, I don't know this for sure, but I would have to think that all 9 of the justices that made the decisions or participated probably have had their vaccine. I mean, I don't think they're anti-vaxxers or anything.
Well, here's a little thing that was kind of interesting. When the justices gave out this decision, who was the only justice not to be wearing a mask?
You know, I didn't see, but I don't think. Thought I saw a drawing or something in it, like maybe Alito or somebody.
No,
didn't have it on. I
Gorsuch.
can't remember.
Gorsuch.
Oh, yeah, maybe he was.
That's
Yeah.
right, Gorsuch. Yeah.
He
I
didn't
can't
wear a
remember.
mask, and I think that wasn't so much a, you know, why did he do that? I mean, it's disrespectful of your fellow judges who don't want to be in the same close to each other without masks on. You know, that's just rude.
Yeah, I don't know if it's required or obviously it's
I
not,
think he was
guess.
doing it as a statement.
I don't know. I mean, I've seen him speak many times. He's a fairly reasonable person from what I see. I don't know. I mean, he might just be like me and he just doesn't like him, and you know, maybe he's vaccinated.
Hey,
and
look,
he says,
nobody
you know,
likes masks, but I don't wear it for
No.
me. I wear it for other people.
Yeah, I mean,
And by the way, I found
but
out
then
today.
don't. But if you don't want to, then don't. You don't. I'm not asking you to wear one for me. I mean, that's. I don't know. At some point, we're reaching. I mean, is this shit going to go on for a decade? I mean, at some point, you got to make your
Oh,
decision.
by the way, I've been putting
and then
down
you gotta live with it.
people who wear them as diapers. You know, who under the nose is exposed. Marjorie brought up something today. Actually, what they're doing is people who don't wear them over their nose are asking to be infected. You breathe in through your nose, you breathe out through your mouth. The mouth is the main way that it spreads, not the nose. The nose is you put it there to protect yourself from inhaling it.
Right.
So
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying that that's the court's directive there. And over the past couple of decades, there is no doubt that the executive branch and the executive
Yeah.
has grown too large, has grown to have too much power, has certainly exceeded the box that I would think that the Constitutional Convention placed it in. It's well outside that. And it's probably about time some of it got checked. You know, when President Obama lost that case for the National Labor Relations Board, that was one of the first steps that the court had taken to check, you know, executive power about 10 years ago. I mean, my point in this, and the court's point, again, would always be that you can be upset with him, and that's fine, but you are upset with 9 people, okay, when there are tens of millions of Americans who elected their representatives who are doing nothing about this problem. If the people were truly up in arms about this problem, we're sick of COVID, we want everyone to get a vaccine, daggone it, we want a law about it, we want it right now, then they would put pressure on their Congress people and on their senators, and they would get it done. But people are obviously not that upset about it.
Yeah. Yes,
you know,
Alan?
because they're not doing that.
So I thought the preview. I thought the purview of OSHA, which stands for Occupational Health and Safety. I mean, both of those things, health, safety. The vaccine is both of those. So I don't understand why the court would put it down. I understand what you said, Josh, but it seems kind of weird that the court would actually just shut it down. Why not just say, yeah, everybody that works in the workplace has to get a shot?
Well, it's still, I think companies can still mandate it for their company if they want
yes,
to.
privately, because they're a private company.
That's right.
Yeah.
Private.
I'm saying that the court is saying what I would say, which is, if the president, if the president of the United States has the power to order your workplace to require you to have this done, okay, and we say that's okay, then next week, what's to stop the president of the United States from making a different order for something else, and for him saying, well, it's for your own safety? I'm saying that's where we have to watch out for that stuff. I mean, everyone. I understand everyone is saying it's good for you and it's and all that, and I'm just saying that the court said one person decided that. So what stops him or her from next week deciding something totally different? And then the government, OSHA, the people that work there are duty bound to enforce it.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I mean, I'm just saying, what's to stop him from saying next week that, look, the doctors all say that if you eat an apple a day, you'll be healthy. And from now on, everyone who works for a company of 100 or more people eats an apple a day. Really stupid example. I'm just saying, what's to stop them from saying that?
Yeah.
If this stands as is, then the president is there, okay, to allow them to. I'm just saying that it's dangerous for one person to be allowed to make a law that is something of this nature. Okay, if the Congress had voted for the same language in legislation, then it would be seen as representative of what the entire nation wants and needs. And if it wasn't, and if it was an incredible overstep, then ideally, theoretically, in the next election, they would throw all those people out and put some folks in there that would undo it.
Okay.
Because the people would say, no, we're not doing that. That's how it's supposed to work. Now, that isn't how it works, and I get that, but that's how it's supposed to work. And the fact that it doesn't work that way, I cannot blame on 535 people in the Congress and 9 people in the court, because, you know, it's those 600 people that are dominating the decisions, while the 300 million allow them to. I mean,
well, how do we stop them?
I mean, we have to
Short of
choose
sedition.
different legislators if we're that upset about it, but we never do.
Yeah.
I mean, Congress changes hands in power, but how often does it actually change hands in makeup?
I don't know why. I don't know why.
Not by that many people.
Hold on a second. I don't know why this has happened, but Ray Renati is joining us at the last minute on this program.
Wow.
Are you there, Ray? Or
Maybe he's been in the waiting room for an hour.
No, he wasn't. Why do you wait till the last minute to call the show, Ray?
We're saying goodbye. Thank you.
He's still connecting.
He's still trying to connect his audio.
Yeah.
This is the weirdest show.
Okay, Ray, rather close your mouth and put your teeth back in.
Yeah, yeah.
Just easy.
All you gotta do is click your audio on, Ray.
Yeah.
There it is. There you go, Ray.
Hey, I just wanted to say hello.
Hi.
Yeah, you're waiting till the last minute of the show.
I know it's been hard because my family all gets together late. My kids are going to school.
Yeah. Well, you weren't here for Tony's caffeine-riddled rant.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
He was reading to us from menus that no longer exist.
They were old, Alex, too. $3.50.
I know, Tony. I know. I know. We're all well aware of that, Tony.
Never threw nothing out, this woman.
And by the way, your dinner's ready.
The next pot of coffee that's ringing.
Where's that ding come from? I have no idea. It's weird. It's all kinds of weird sounds. By the way, just a slight moment here to mention, I've been using my new stove, and I can turn it on now using
Alexa.
Alexa.
Cool.
Yeah. So, and I can also turn it on and off from, or let's say I'm in Paris. I can turn it on and off. It's amazing. It's wonderful. But oh, there's Tony's background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have my green screen on though, so it's all messed up.
Yeah. Right. The faux green screen that Zoom has,
Yeah.
which doesn't work that well.
It's better than Skype's. Skype's is awful.
Skype's is awful. I don't know.
Oh yeah, it's awful.
We don't use Skype anymore here.
Yeah.
But this has worked out okay. But anyway, we're living in interesting times. That's a curse. I understand. Remember we used to say it was a curse.
Yeah.
You live in interesting times. But I don't like how interesting it's been. It's pretty ugly. It's pretty ugly. But then again, you can always rely on a moment of peace where Tony comes on a show and reads from menus for us.
I got more, too.
Chinese food, eggs. You missed the whole thing, Ray.
Damn.
Yeah.
You missed. I can pull out golden chopsticks next week, Alex, if you want. They're close.
All right.
Golden chopsticks?
That was another old Chinese takeout on Grand Avenue by me. They went out of business.
Well, we've gotten you a certain way along the road here, because
he's
now
not
you're referring to it
using-
as Chinese food.
That's what I was just thinking.
Yeah.
Which is,
Oh yeah, you might have beat that into me now. Now it's subconscious that I'm actually not saying it in a racist tone.
yeah, right. But it's very, very nice of you to call tonight, Tony. And be sure before you call next time, drink about 5 cups of coffee.
Have
Because
the Dunkin' Donuts. Maybe
Tomorrow, that's for
the numbers surged when you were there on coffee. Alan, thank you so much for being here tonight. Josh, thank you for giving us a good lesson in democracy, something that I'm sure has not gone unnoticed by the Republicans. Oh, boy. Hey, Charlie.
Alan,
Wonderful
Charlie,
seeing
those
you.
things.
Kevin, always great seeing you.
Go Niners.
Brian, who's in back of you working?
My daughter.
Your daughter? Okay. What is she doing? Looks like she's doing her accounting or something.
No, it's Tiffany. She's working.
I was gonna say that didn't look like a 13-year-old.
No.
No. I thought it was a green screen to start with. back there.
Yeah. And Tony, thank you so much. Your calmness and your just really.
I like the menus.
Yeah. And
$3 for
and
an
Ray,
omelet, really?
3 minutes is more than enough for us to say thank you for being on the show tonight.
Hey, I miss you guys.
We
I gotta
miss
try to
you
get
too.
my schedule different so I could come on more.
Yeah. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's our citizen panel for tonight. Everybody give a big wave goodbye, and I'll give a big wave goodbye back at you. There they go, That's our citizen panel for tonight. Oh boy, what a weird show tonight. But good. Anyway, listen, Jack Bishop is next with The Intersection. I will be back here on Monday at 4 o'clock with our pop-up show, and then we'll be back here again on Wednesday. Yes, Wednesday, ladies and gentlemen, where we'll be here at 10:30. Same time, same station in life. And in the meantime, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? I think it's this microphone, the camera, isn't it? Yeah. Tell her I love her, okay? And by the way, get vaccinated, wear a mask, you know the drill. See you later. Bye.